Hey guys, my name is Femboy87, and welcome to a review of Cold Pursuit. Yeah. Cold Pursuit features Liam Neeson as the main character. Now, when I first saw the trailer for this, it looked like another Taken movie. And I'm like, oh god, not another one of these. Then I saw the Rotten Tomatoes, which, when I first saw them, were at 90%. I'm like, oh my god! That's from the screenings. And since it's dropped to 70%. A bit of a drop. Yeah, a bit. But I didn't think much of it. It was still a positive review. And I'm like, okay, cool. Are we actually going to get a Taken movie, in a sense, with a good story? No. No. This movie was fucking horrible. It was offensive as hell. And oh my god! It was infuriating! My dad took me to see it. We were very excited to see Liam Neeson kick some serious ass. We didn't care about the racial controversy at the time. We just wanted to see a fun action movie with Liam Neeson kicking ass. This movie took a dip into the stratosphere for offensive, horrible nature to it. And it offended me on so many levels, and I'm sure it offended other people on so many levels too. This movie didn't have to be as complicated as it is. This movie is trying to be a revenge story and an offensive comedy. Now, is that impossible to do? It isn't. Deadpool did it beautifully. I love Deadpool in that regard, and in a lot of other regards. But this movie tried it and failed. And that's my emphasis on this movie. It tries to be offensive with some humor, and with a serious story, and you don't even know what kind of a movie it is, because it doesn't know what kind of a movie it is. There are so many scenes where you feel like you should be emotionally invested, but you just aren't. Then there are scenes where you feel like you should be laughing, but you're not. This movie just does not know what it wants to be. It didn't have to be this complicated. It could have been Liam Neeson goes out and kills some guys who killed his son. His wife, oh my god. I normally like the actress here, but she was horrendous in this movie. We didn't know our own son. My boy wasn't a drug addict. What do you mean? You don't know your own son. Oh my god. Why are you being a dick? Okay, your husband and you just lost your son. You could show a bit more sympathy. You could understand that maybe he's in denial. Or maybe there is something to what he said. No, you're never there for your husband. Ever. Any time in this movie. Oh. There's even a scene that really pisses me off where she's like, he posted things of this on Facebook. Did you know about that? Did you know about how he actually felt? No. Fuck you. It doesn't even feel emotional at all. It feels like a fucking plug-in for product placement involving Facebook. That's all the scene feels like. And it feels like not only is it just that, it feels like it's trying to shove it in your face. Like Hulk Hogan or some shit. And let's talk about the action. There are some beautiful shots in this movie. I'm not trying to say this movie's 100% awful. There are some beautiful visuals in this movie. It takes place in a cool environment, no pun intended. And there are some good action scenes. And there's some scenes where you do feel like it's a typical Taken movie where Liam Neeson is a badass. However, some of it gets goofy and then it gets fucking stupid. The brutality is a bit much, in a sense, but we'll get into why it is later. So he buries people at the bottom of a lake, and there's really no good transition from the kind of character he is. It at least makes sense why he did it in Taken. He has some background as to why he does what he does, why he's good at what he is. In this movie, He's a fucking snowplow driver. There's no explanation as to why he's such a good killer. We get that he's a hunter. Yeah, sure, okay. But a cold-blooded murderer? I don't see that. I just didn't see any of this. Also, you would think that the investigators, when they were investigating the body of the son, would have seen some handprints of who else may have messed with him. He was in the same clothes when he died. It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. And the boss has a kid in this movie who, I feel bad for the kid slightly, but it's like, dude, what the fuck? This is a mafia boss we're talking about. And there's a custody battle, there's a subplot there that never gets resolved. There's about 12 subplots in this movie that never get resolved, and it's fucking frustrating. And just for my sanity, we'll keep it at a minimum. So then, as Liam Neeson is picking off these men who are partially responsible for the death of the son, and here's my problem. There is no reasoning why they went after his kid to begin with. There's none. There's no reasoning. Maybe I missed it, but there is no reasoning why they went after his kid. None. You could say that maybe they just went after some random bloke, but to go through the effort of framing someone, injecting drugs into them, and then overdosing them, that is not a simple kill. That is something that takes effort and money because you're investing money into drugs. And when you do that, you kind of want to have reasoning. You want to have reasoning why this kid needed to be killed. There is none. So there's some cool moments of Liam Neeson being Liam Neeson. But then the movie just goes into the worst stratosphere ever. When they involve the Indian mafia. The movie from there just goes completely horrible. There's one last good scene involving Wingman, where he's a fucking badass before he dies. And the death's handled well. That's the last good thing in this movie. My dad wanted to walk out of this theater so badly. And I cannot blame him. I wanted to see this thing through. Because I'm like, okay, it was rated 70 on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe there's reasoning behind all this. Maybe all the subplots get resolved. Maybe there's some kind of cool conspiracy or some kind of cool joke behind it. No, there isn't. Half the subplots aren't resolved, and it offends and pisses me off. In fact, this movie is offensive to pretty much at least 90 nationalities and racial analogies. I'm pretty sure this movie could have offended every race out there. The only one it didn't offend was Mexicans, which, congrats Mexicans, you avoided slaughter in 2 senses from this movie. Can't say the same for blacks, or Native Americans, or Asians, or black people, or white trash. Yeah, this movie was horrible. Everyone is fucking the worst interpretations of stereotypes. And then, in order to finally put an end to all of this, he kidnaps the mafia's kid. And I get partially why, because the Native Americans are going to assassinate this kid. Because the other clan assassinated the Native American's kid. And there's reasoning behind that. But then Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson kidnaps the kid. Why? I guess to keep him safe? But shit, wouldn't the logical thing be to turn him into the police when you see them next time around? These 2 police people try to involve themselves as much as possible. They're trying to help make a difference, Liam Neeson. You could tell them. At least some of it. But he doesn't tell them anything. He tries to do this all on his own. And he puts the kid in danger. He puts so many lives in danger. He starts off a fucking turf war up in the mountains. He starts off a fucking gang war. And this story just, it goes on and on. It doesn't feel like it ends. It shows the Native Americans having some fun on the side with some parachuting and sledding. And don't worry, we'll get to the parachuter later. Oh, man. So the leader finally dies. Now there's a gist in everyone dying. Whenever anyone dies in this movie, depending on their ethnicity or what they believe or what kind of a person they are, it shows a little screen that's like kind of in honor of, kind of trying to, with a sign, with some kind of a symbol, to show, and their name, to show that their death has weight. This has been done a lot better in movies. Do you ever remember The Seven Samurai? They had death meaning in there. People went in slow motion when they died. Death had a lot more meaning there than it does here. Just showing a little title card with a death symbol doesn't do much. But the worst part is when the main villain of the story dies, it's a peace sign. If that's maybe his... Now, I don't get why, but he has indicated nothing of peace. Nothing. If this was a mafia guy who did things for all the wrong reasons and lost everyone he loved, maybe I could see it. Like, maybe if this was Nicolas Cage from the Gun Wars movie, I could maybe see it, but I can't here. And if this was maybe symbolism from the whole Germany, Nazi, whatever crap thing that went on, where it's a symbol, where it's a peace symbol to represent that, maybe I could either, but there's no reasoning for it here. There's none. There's none. So, that being said, eventually, after the killer is killed by the mafia gang leader for some reason sneaks into Liam Neeson's snowplow. And the Native American guy and them sit in the snowplow together, and they drive for a while. There's a bunch of other cars behind them for whatever reason, and for some reason the kid isn't traumatized. He was kidnapped and his father died. Why is he not traumatized? I don't know. Maybe because he's a kid actor. I don't know. So despite all of that, despite all that crap, they're now all following him. This almost sounds like a Monty Python movie gone wrong. But despite that, there is potential in this scene for a good, decent ending. We've seen it done well where the antagonist and protagonist are sitting together and coming to a respect truce between the two. We saw this done well in Assassin's Creed 3. With Charles Lee and Connor Cormack. We saw a good way to end the feud between them. It's been done, so it could have potentially been done here. The two, a mafia gangster who is of Native American heritage, and Liam Neeson finding a mutual respect for one another. That could have been a decent ending. And I would have been happy with that. Everything else would have been shit, but I could have at least forgiven the movie. But then the icing on the cake, the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the spear, every tip you can think of, including the tip of my small motherfucking peanut. I'm kidding, no. But, seriously, the perfect cherry on top. The Native American from earlier, in the parachute or hang glider thingy, flies into a fucking shredder. I'm not joking. That's how the movie ends. Then it shows a freaking title card of all the people who die. And we don't care about half of these fucking people. You see why I don't care for this movie? This movie was fucking horrendous. Despite all of that. my dad wanted to walk out, and I wouldn't have blamed him if he did. I asked him if he wanted to go, and I would stay. But no, he stayed too, and he hated himself for it. He felt like he wasted time, and that we had wasted money. And I can't blame him for that in the slightest. So, in the end, I'm going to give this movie a D. You thought I was probably going to give it an F, and I want to give it an F. But there are some beautiful shots in this movie. There are some beautiful scenes in this movie, and there are a few good lines of dialogue, and some things are executed quite well. I liked the wingman death scene. I liked some of the beginning death scenes. They felt like a typical movie of Taken. But after this, I'd rather watch Taken 3. Taken 3 was stupid, but it didn't offend me. This one did. Also, last thing about this movie, this is a nitpick. You can easily tell this is not in Denver. And they reuse the same stupid shot of the van driving to supposedly Denver. It is not Denver. I used to live in Denver. It is not Denver. None of it looks like Denver. This all looks like it was filmed in Canada somewhere, in some Canadian city during the winter. Anyways, that's all I got to say on this movie. Don't watch it. If you're someone who likes getting offended, I guess this is the movie for you. Other than that, if you thought this was going to be another Taken movie, I'm here to tell you right now, I don't recommend it. If you like this movie, I'll disagree with you, but that's no reason for you not to like the movie. If you can find enjoyment in a movie like this, go enjoy it, man. It's not my decision to tell you what you can and can't enjoy. If you want to enjoy this movie, go on ahead. I hope you do. If you can find something in there or meaning that I couldn't, good for you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a pretty pissed off review, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And I don't know what movie I'll review next. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video.